Well, I've been putting this AMC back together. Been working on the front end, trying to get the bumper back on the grill. The bumper brackets all needed painted and cleaned up. So I'm gonna bring you in a little closer and show you what I got going on, and see what you think. All right, so I got the grill all fixed up and I painted it flat black. It was all cracked up in spots. Right here where this bolt is underneath, right here on both sides had like this big square like crack in it, and I repaired that on both sides, and then painted the grill black, painted the bumper brackets, got them all back on, got the horn back in. I'm not 100% sure on where it went because it wasn't on there when I got the car, but it was in a box, so I think that's where it went. I got to these brackets that hold the grill in, and I was going to start cleaning them up, painting them, and they're pretty rough, but they're usable. Then I got to thinking, I built these strut brackets, and I thought, well, I'll probably do the same down here. So I went and bought a thinner piece of aluminum stock, and I built these. And then I decided to put the holes in them to kind of go with that theme there. And I think they look pretty good. I actually put the same bevel on there as the grill has and rounded the corners off. I kind of trimmed this one up because it looked weird. Over here is what I started with. See how it's kind of squared up. I don't know, it didn't look that great. And then this is the first one I made for here, and it wasn't long enough to square it up with the grill, so I ended up making this one over here a little longer and fixing it up. So I'm going to remake this one. These ones here aren't polished. I just kind of bent them and put them on there to see how it was going to work. And then I made these ones, which turn out a lot better. So, and these are polished and they look pretty nice, I think, anyways. My wife actually likes them, so that's a plus. I think it looks a lot better than that crappy thing. So, if you want to see how I made them, stick around, because I got to remake this one, and I've got to cut this one and finish it up. But they're really not that hard to make. I mean, I just pounded them over with a hammer and a vise, and they look pretty good. I mean, they're actually nice and square, and I rounded the tops off and polished them, compared to this one here. You can see it's not polished. Then you got this nice shiny one over here. But that's where I'm at. So, if you're interested, keep watching. Now to cut this, I just use a trusty old hacksaw. Then to clean this up, I just use my trusty old homemade disc sander. clean this up a little better. I just use this trusty file. And after I hit it with a file, I just used a piece of 320 grit on a sanding block. Cleans that right up nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 320 grit. I'm going to get it in this hole and just start sanding that smooth. Then you're going to want to take, there's some pretty good scratches in the surface of this. The stuff is pretty rough from the store. I took a piece of 320 on a sanding block, and then I just kind of start sanding nice and flat, and I went at angle. What you're trying to do is get all these little imperfections out of here. There's some little pitting and some scuffing and stuff from bending it and stuff with the hammer. I like to take the edge of this block and get it right down in the corner here. Now I'm going to go to 400 grit. The smoother you get this, the better it polishes. I'm going to use 400 grit because that's as fine as I have. And then I'm going to go through some steel wool, some different aughts on steel wool to get it smooth. This is grade 1 steel wool. It'll help take some of these heavier scratches out. How much better that looks. And then this is quad aught, which is a lot finer. See how that shined that right up right there? Almost polishes it. See how that almost polishes that? This is what the back looks like. All crappy and scratched up. Now you just take the good old Mother's aluminum mag wheel polish. Look at that. I just polished from here up just a little bit. I mean, it really does a big difference. This is what I started with. This is what I ended with. I mean, look at that. I can make out a little yellow spot right here, but when I hold this up there, you can see it's a DeWalt drill. Started with that, made that. I think this cost me $17 at Tractor Supply. It's 1/8 inch thick, 1.5 inch wide, and it was 4 foot long. So this will do all 4 of them, and I still have a piece about 2 foot long. So if you mess up, like I messed up the one, so I got to remake it, and I have enough here. So I'm going to go bolt this on, and then I'll show you how I made the other one. Now when you're making these, just pay attention to the details. Like see how I kept this nice and square with the top of this radiator support. And then this here is almost in line with that. It turns a little bit, but I had to do that to keep enough room for that screw. But it looks a lot better. And then this one too. I kept it nice and square with the top of the radiator support. Now these ones here, you had to bend this at an angle, which I just measured the piece. I think it was 1/4 inch longer on one side than it was on the other. And then this is a square cut. So I'm going to make this one. I got to remake this one and bring it out here to match that. And I'll show you how I did that. And then the holes are the same as that, and they're the same as this. So if you want to see how I drilled the holes and polished them, you can see that in that video. I'll probably just make this piece and get this on here and, you know, square it up and then call it quits for the video. So I'll get that made and show you what I got going on. Okay, so what I did is I measured this from the front edge to the back edge, and it measured 7 inches. And I think this was a 1/2 inch. No, this is 3/4 of an inch tall. So what I did, I ended up making mine 7.5 to make it a little longer for that tapered part in the front. So I marked 7.5. Then I made this little tapered template. Just lay that on there and keep it out here to your longest point. And then I had made this return an inch. Back over here to the vise and the hacksaw. And I'm going to take this over and hit on the disc sander and clean this up, and I'll be back. Alright, so what I did here, because the top edge of this vise is rough and serrated, so it'll grab your work, I needed something smooth so that when I bent that, it didn't leave marks in the corner of that bend. So I took a piece of steel and I just smoothed it up on the disc sander over there. And I just took a piece of painter's tape. Then I just lined my mark up right with the edge of this piece of steel. Then I just took the hammer and that's all there is to it. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to hit this with a file, clean it up, hit it with sandpaper. I'm going to drill my holes, sand it all up, polish it, and I got to drill these holes, put it on the car. These holes are nothing to drill. I just use the old piece. If you measure off of the bottom up to the hole, I think it was 3/8 of an inch to the center. Then from here to here, I can't remember the measurement. But just take all your measurements off the back side. Because remember, this is thicker than this, so it's going to lay on the car just like this. So everything has to be measured from the back side of this piece. Alright, I'm going to finish this up. I'll get it on the car, and I'll let you see what my finished product is. Well, there's the finished product. Tell me what you think. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like always, thanks for watching, and watch for the next episode.